Hello everyone, and welcome back to Scary Interesting, where we explore the haunting stories that linger in the depths of human experience. I'm Sherry, your companion on this journey through the pages of tragedies that have left an indelible mark on the tapestry of our lives. Today, we're delving into a story that reflects the raw and sometimes heart-wrenching aspects of the human condition. It's a narrative that will not only send chills down your spine, but also provoke deep reflection on the fragility of our existence. Before we begin, make sure you're subscribed to Scary Interesting and hit that notification bell so you never miss out on our exploration of the profound and the perplexing. Without further ado, let's step into the shadows of the human experience. During a cool Sunday evening in November 2017, Weave Thomas, an accomplished jumper, went making a plunge the Tilly Cultivate Cave with two of his jumping partners. This was the kind of thing they had done two or multiple times previously, yet while one of his partners dove into the mine and made it out after some time, Thomas would just restore the following day after a hunt party found his body 171 FD underneath water. A more critical investigate, the matter would uncover additional sickening subtleties, including a startling story of a missing young lady, a miserable history of the mine and why Thomas indeed even went making a plunge the mine that day. This is the startling catastrophe of the Tilly Encourage mine occurrence. An admirer of the Houston Astros and a fanatic of the ocean and of disclosure bounce, Thomas was enthusiastic about nature and experience even before he accomplished the degree of expert in jumping. He was beforehand a carefully prepared mountain and rock climber. Yet before all of this, the 48-year-old jumper from Jersey City served in the Naval Force from 1987 to 1993. Now in the IT business, he invests his free energy in experience. His profile on Facebook peruses a balance of IT planner, preservationist and plunging explorer, amassing his photograph exhibition of photos of his circle of jumpers, his significant other, and of him in scuba jumpers gear. So fundamentally jumping was essential for his standard piece of his life, something his companions said he had been accomplishing for 20 entire years. Until that sad day, it was on November 19, 2017, when everybody was getting ready for Thanksgiving. Thomas chose to get out of the house for a past jump, as he had done so often before. It was about to be a speedy jump before he went to his sweetheart's home, where a party would be held, protected to say he was extra energized that morning. A decent plunge and afterward, a boogie on the dance floor. What could be better? So, while his sweetheart arranged for the party, Thomas went to the Tilly Iron mine with two of his jumping partners, a man and a lady, found southeast in Putum district close to Brewster Station, New York. The Tilly Cultivate mine has a powerful history, a set of experiences conveying both passing and investigation. Named after Tilly, encouraged the mine traces all the way back to the mid-19th century. It was a fruitful mining spot after it was purchased by the Harvey Iron and Steel Organization in 1853. By the late 1880, it changed into a tremendous open pit, 100 feet deep profound, with seriously mining likely tragically. A breakdown of a piece of the mine ended the existence of 13 laborers. Mining tasks then stopped, and soon a close-by repository streamed into the pit to shape something like a waterway. However, Thomas had been going to the mine because, not in light of these 13 dead individuals whose bodies had for quite some time been covered. Thomas was there due to one individual who presently can't seem to get neither equity nor a legitimate interment, a 17-year-old young lady from Palm region named Robin F. Murphy, who has been absent since April 9, 1995. In those days, a few pursuit parties were sent off, and the Tilly Encourage mine was thought to be holding her body, particularly after a mystic Valentina Lomborg affirmed that Robin had been killed and unloaded in the mine. Accordingly, the police sent a group of jumpers to really take a look at the mine, subsequent to plunging down to 130 feet due to the restricted assets accessible. To jumpers then, they came up void by the by subsidizing for her quests, consistently stays progressing the police, haven't shut her case, some actually make individual jumps into the mind, looking for her body. This is where Sway Thomas proposed to come in. Thomas was important for a group driven by another experienced jumper, Dan Wright. Together, they deliberately adventure periodically into the mine looking for Robin. Like a kid opening a current, they are entranced by what they figure out. Every opportunity they make a plunge, now 600 F to bottom and 300 x 400 in WY. The mine seemed to be a cavern covered inside a waterway. There are a few passages going through the mine containing foliage and trash there, even unloaded vehicles and trucks, in addition to other things. By August 2016, Thomas and his group had made a stunning 89 jumps into the Tillian Courage mine. 2017, as once more they held up through the mine, finding different indented things. They coincidentally found something fascinating, a garment that seemed to be a young lady's. When they ran it through Robin's mom and the police, the dress was affirmed to be Robin's. This was a tremendous. Yet again, find the group was energized and kept on making more jumps. Months after the fact, on November 19, 2017, Thomas called two of his partners to go with him to the mine since it was Sunday. Perhaps they would look out and find more to assist in the Robin with packaging at the bow. Mine jumpers ordinarily stand on a stage over the water, which drops 177 ft. Following they take a leap that day, Thomas made casual chit-chat with his partners on the stage as they held on for him to make his most memorable plunge. He was equipped as he had forever been for the beyond 20 years. He had on a SCUB, a tank connected to a controller, a warmed wetsuit to safeguard himself from the cool, a plunging veil, balances, and other fundamental materials. By early afternoon he bounces into the water, abandoning his partners on the outer layer of the water. The temperature was simply 70 yet 10 ft. Beneath this, it dropped pointedly to 42. Thomas didn't stress over this, since he had on his wetsuit for this sort of low temperature, and as long as he proceeded submerged for the hour and a half the suit's battery could permit, he was fine. So he attempted to go on with this jump. Then he understood that his scuba tank had a low stock of compacted air, which was slowly declining. He might have changed to a whole tank, yet he hadn't gone in with one understanding what this implied. His sense kicked in, and he chose to make a fast plunge out of the water to top off his tank, prior to making a plunge again. Tragically for him, he was in piece of the ME that was hazy with trash and other matter. Due to this, he was unable to see a lot of. He was unable to advise where to go or to explore his direction back up. Then, at that point, dread grasped him. His plunging lights were moving madly in the dimness as he was attempting to search for a reasonable way to follow, but since of the chilling temperature and the obscurity, Thomas couldn't think plainly any longer. With his oxygen level quick draining and the temperature cooling further, his frenzy saw. Then things went totally crazy when he was gotten by the wires and links that he was conveying with him. Submerged, unfit to move, he kicked and whipped in distress, yet with no impact. His oxygen levels were going down quicker now, due to every one of his horrifying developments. His sheer water plunge P.C. showed that he had only a couple of more errors left to go. There was just something single he could do: escape the water and into the surface quick. However, this was unimaginable with him still firmly trapped by the wires. Now with a full scuba tank, a jump for the most part endures 1 hour, pretty much relying upon how profound the jumper goes and how experienced they are close to the surface. It can most recent 70 minutes, yet at 100 F this time is decreased by 17 minutes. Also, that unfortunate air, the board and lightness control, as well as different elements like uneasiness, can chop the oxygen levels down considerably further, and Thomas was restless as damnation by attempting frantically to battle right in the clear. Thomas ran out of oxygen at 12:34 p.m. Under 1 hour after he dove in. Right now, Thomas encountered a hypoxic power outage, which is a deficiency of cognizance because of an absence of oxygen submerged. He actually might have been saved on the off chance that salvage had come for him. However, nobody would have envisioned that, with his experience, something like this could at any point occur, and soon he began to suffocate while still attached by the wires and links, with nobody to assist, with no revival on the way, and with water steadily topping off his body. Thomas kicked the bucket minutes after the fact in that lamentable hold. His partners, at the surface, didn't have any idea yet what was up. However, around 1 p.m., that is about an hour after Thomas Pigeon, one of his partners, the man accepted to be downright placed. While the lady stayed on a superficial level, he sat tight for quite a while inside the water, however neglected to find Thomas. He likely even felt that he had re-emerged, so, after around 2 hours in the water, the man reappeared from the water at around 300 p.m. It's not satisfactory what the partners of Thomas did straight away, yet at around 3:50 p.m. that day, the sheriff's office was called by Thomas's sweetheart, who detailed that her beau should have come back from plunging to go to a party with her, hence a delegate was conveyed to investigate, and after arriving, he met Thomas's partners, who said Thomas presently couldn't seem to re-emerge, despite the fact that his oxygen supply probably ran out by then. The agent then, at that point, called for reinforcement, and the quest for Thomas quickly started. The temperament in the psyche was at that point sharp, since everybody knew the most terrible that occurred. If assuming that Thomas dove in around early afternoon, when the delegate showed up, he would have spent more than 4 hours inside the water. By then it was basically impossible that he was as yet alive. Nobody could make do in the water that long, except if a supernatural occurrence happened. The pursuit went on till the next day. A few jumpers from the Brewster and Mopic Falls local groups of firefighters and the State Police Division utilized the utilization of modern sonar and camera hardware. At 12:55 p.m., the departed group of Thomas was seen as caught by wires at 171 ft in the water. It was then flung up with a link to the surface. The case was formally shut in July of 2018 by the State Division in the wake of being governed as a lamentable mishap. A couple of months after the fact, a stone with Thomas's name was raised in his memory.